come on. Please. I'm already late. Move! Just move!
It's cutting close. But I think I'm gonna make it. I need this job.
But what happened here?
Do you need any help, ma'am?
Yes, please. I can't change this tire. Please, let me pay you. You saved me.
No, don't worry about it. I have to go. I'm already late. Ma'am, I have an interview. I'm a little late, but I made it.
You look horrible. This is no place for someone like you. The homeless shelter is around the corner.
That happened because I stopped to help a young woman on the road. But I was clean, ma'am. Please, just let me go to the interview.
Of course I'm not letting you in here, you filthy man. Get out of here with that smell of yours. Hey, what are you doing here?
Hey, what are you doing here? I came for my interview here, but they threw me out because I arrived late.
Ma'am, is this homeless man bothering you? I'm calling security. Homeless man? Are you out of your mind? This man helped me today. And he is the new manager of this place.
The interview that could save his daughter's life was in 40 minutes. Nathan Cole had one good shirt. He'd bought it at Goodwill 8 months ago, the day before his first interview after the layoff. He'd worn it to 9 interviews since then. 9 times he'd come home to Emma asking, "Did you get it, Daddy?" 9 times he'd said, "Not this one, baby, but next time." She'd stopped asking after the 6th. He was on the highway when he saw her. White Mercedes on the shoulder, hazard lights blinking. A woman in a charcoal blazer crouched beside a flat rear tire with a lug wrench in both hands and desperation on her face. She'd been there a while. Nobody had stopped. Nathan looked at the clock, looked at her, pulled over. He didn't think about the shirt. That was his first mistake. Or maybe it was the best thing he ever did. He still hasn't decided. She'd been turning the bolts the wrong direction the whole time. He repositioned the wrench, broke them loose one by one, swapped the flat for the spare in under 6 minutes. Efficient. Military. His hands knew what to do before his brain caught up. When he stood, the shirt had a grease streak across the cuff, a dark smear down the front, and a mark on the collar that wasn't coming out without a machine and 2 cycles of detergent. She stared at him, then at the shirt. "Oh God, I'm so sorry, let me—" "You're good." He was already moving. "Spares only rated for 50 miles. Get it checked. Please, at least let me pay. Drive safe." He was back in his car. He had 31 minutes. He made it in 28. The lobby of Harrington Logistics smelled like leather and money. Nathan walked in breathing hard, grease on his shirt, sweat on his collar, folder pressed against his chest like a shield. The receptionist, blonde, early 30s, the particular brand of immaculate that comes from caring too much about immaculate, looked up from her desk. The look she gave him lasted less than a second, but it said everything. "Can I help you?" Not a question. "Nathan Cole, I have an interview for the district manager position." Her eyes moved over him slowly. The cuff, the collar, the streak down the front. "Your interview was at 2. "I know. There was a situation on the—" "It's 2:11. "I understand. If I could just speak with someone from HR." She leaned back in her chair, the way people do when they've already made their decision and are just waiting for the other person to realize it. "Sir," her voice dropped, just enough to feel like a favor. "I think there's been a confusion. This is a corporate office. We don't really—" She paused, choosing her word with care. "Accommodate walk-ins who aren't prepared." Nathan held very still. "I have an interview scheduled. My name is in your system." "What I see in my system," she said, "is someone who's 45 minutes late and dressed like he came from a garage." She picked up her phone. I'm going to have to ask you to leave before I call security. I don't want to make this uncomfortable. The lobby was silent. Two people on the couches had stopped pretending to look at their phones. Nathan didn't move. He didn't raise his voice. He thought about Emma. He thought about 9 interviews. He set his folder on the counter very gently and said, "I'd like to wait." Courtney stared at him. Then she dialed. The elevator opened. The woman from the highway walked out. She still had the grease stain on her left knee. She was mid-sentence, phone to her ear, heels clicking across marble, when she looked up and stopped so suddenly that the man behind her nearly walked into her back. She looked at Nathan, at the shirt, at the streak she had put there. Nathan looked at her. Neither of them spoke for 3 full seconds. Courtney appeared from behind the desk with the velocity of someone about to solve a problem. "Ms. Harrington, I'm so sorry. This man came in without an appointment. He's been refusing to leave. I was just about to—" Claire Harrington held up one hand. Courtney stopped. Claire crossed the lobby slowly, looking at Nathan the whole time. At the shirt, at the folder, at his face. She stopped in front of him and said quietly, "You came anyway." "I had an interview." She looked down at the grease mark on his cuff, the one she'd put there. "You changed my tire and then came straight here." "Yes." She was quiet for a moment, then she turned to Courtney, not angry, worse than angry, precise. "What did you say to him?" Courtney opened her mouth, closed it. "I was enforcing—" "What did you say to him?" The lobby was completely silent now. Nobody was pretending anymore. Courtney said carefully, "I suggested he wasn't prepared for a professional environment." Claire looked at her for a long moment. Then she looked at Nathan's shirt one more time. The shirt he'd ruined, pulling a spare tire from the trunk of her car so she could make her own meeting on time. She turned back to him and extended her hand. "Claire Harrington, I own this company." A pause. "And I personally built the district manager position you applied for. I've read your resume 3 times. She held his gaze. "I'd like to conduct your interview myself, if you're still willing." Nathan looked at her hand, thought about Emma, thought about the pull-out couch, thought about a white shirt he'd ironed twice that morning that was never going to be white again. He shook her hand. He got the job. Not because Claire felt guilty about the shirt. She told him that directly, sitting across from him in the conference room, and he believed her. She offered it because in 8 minutes on the side of a highway, he'd diagnosed a problem, fixed it efficiently, refused payment, and left without asking for anything in return. Because when a lobby full of people watched him get humiliated, he set his folder down quietly and waited. Because the kind of person who does that under pressure is exactly the kind of person you want managing a district. She also dealt with Courtney before the day was over. That part, Nathan never asked about. He didn't need to. 3 months later, he picked Emma up from school in a car that didn't have a check engine light, took her to dinner at a real restaurant with menus and tablecloths, and watched her order whatever she wanted without looking at the prices. She got the pasta with the breadsticks and a lemonade with a paper straw, and she talked the entire time about her teacher and her best friend, Maya, and a book she was reading about a girl who discovers a hidden door in her bedroom wall. Nathan sat across from her and listened to every word. On the drive home, Emma leaned her head against the window and said, without looking at him, "Daddy, you seem different." "Different how?" She thought about it. "Like you're not scared anymore." He kept his eyes on the road, felt something loosen in his chest that had been tight for a very long time. "Yeah," he said. "I think that's right." Emma was quiet for a moment. Then, "Was it the new job?" "It was a flat tire," he said. She looked at him like he was crazy. He smiled all the way home. The right moment to help someone is always the inconvenient one. And the people who understand that, really understand it, tend to end up exactly where they're supposed to be.